everybody, and welcome back to week 7 of our book club. I hope you all enjoyed your Grapes of Wrath book. 6 weeks was a little bit of a time to read this, so I hope everyone got it done. What do you all think of the book?
It was interesting.
I have my favorite parts of this book.
You know.
Okay.
There were words in the book. I enjoyed those words. They were very detailed.
Okay, everyone. So our topic for this week's discussion is, in the novel The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, the idea of an oversoul is constantly referenced and explained through the character's actions.
That is a very interesting topic to talk about.
But not at all forcing the plot.
So where does the idea of an oversoul even originate from?
Oh, it comes from transcendentalist ideas. However, I have no idea what that is.
Well, transcendentalism actually came from the earliest 19th century when a group of people were like, yo, this church, we don't like it anymore because God's voice is in everyone's head. We can hear God. Why do we need to go to church to worship Him when He's everywhere?
What did they think about the oversoul?
Well, the oversoul was actually their version of God. They believed God was everywhere. He was everything. He was nature. Nature was really important to transcendentalists. They believed nature was a part of God, and they were a part of nature, and that everyone had their own individual relationship with God.
Where in the world did you get that? Oh.
But wouldn't pragmatism make much more sense as a migrant ideal?
What is pragmatism?
Pragmatism is a school of thought that says that usefulness and workability is above all.
When did it start?
It was started in the late 19th century in the United States.
How do these ideas and the idea of an oversoul relate to the novel Grapes of Wrath?
That's right.
I remember when everybody's at the family meeting, and Tom goes up and says, "Yo, can Casey come along?" And Pa's worried about whether or not there's enough space for everybody. And Ma's like, "Yo, chill. Where there's a will, there's a way."
Actually, that was a really good example, Jackson. Ma lets Casey come on the trip, and her letting Casey come on the trip shows that she's working towards the greater good of mankind and not just her family.
Yeah, another good example is with the Wilsons, when they help Grandpa.
And the Wilsons are like, "Hey guys, why don't you come in our tent?" Because they see Grandpa's all sick. And Noah's like, "Yo, Grandpa, you're sick because we drugged you with some medicine." And then, so they put Grandpa in the tent, and Grandpa's all like, he's sleeping and having a stroke, and then he dies. He just croaks, he's dead. And so then Mrs. Wilson's like, "Yo, I'll help him get ready for burial because he needs to be buried because he's dead." And so then they bury him, and they put a note there, and Mr. Wilson, he helps bury him because he's nice, and that's what happens. And Grandpa's all like, "Yo, I want spare ribs."
You can see how this relates to Oversoul because, the Wilsons meet the Joes and they barely know each other, but they're willing to help Grandpa in his time of need, and when he passes away, they help bury him, and they don't even know the Joes, but they're willing to do it, and they invite him in like family.
Example is when Casey turns himself in for Tom.
The preacher, he's all like, "Tom, go!" And he kicks this cop in the face, and he's like, "Ah!" Yeah, and then the cop wakes up, and he's like, "What am I doing on the ground?" And the preacher's all like, "Yo, dude, I kicked you in the throat, and I'd do it again." And then this other guy came over, he's like, "You kicked my guy in the throat?" He's like, "He got tough with the wrong G."
You see, Casey turning himself in directly relates to the oversoul. He no longer cares about himself because he is only one part of the soul, but he turns himself in for Tom, a man who he hasn't seen in years, just for the better good of mankind.
Remember the part where he goes to take over Casey's work?
Oh, so here's another good example. You know the part in the book when Winfield comes in, he's like, "Mom! Mom! She told that Tom killed the man!" And then Mom's all like, "Dang it, Rufy, you're grounded." And anyway, she goes to Tom, and she's like, Tom, you have to leave now. I'm sorry. I wanted to keep the family together, but I failed because I just can't do it, man. And then, Tom's all like, it's okay. I wanted to leave anyway. Why don't you listen to me? You're dumb. And so then, Tom's like, it's okay, Ma. I love you. I will be everywhere. And you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do, Mom? I'm going to take up Casey's work. And I'm going to help lead the migrant people into getting the rights they deserve. The rights they deserve. They're humans. They're not degenerate animals. We will rise. The workers will rise because we are communists. So you see, Tom basically, he gives up everything. I mean, he's kind of forced to, but in a way, he goes to take on Casey's work because he feels Casey was doing the right thing. He didn't even barely see what Casey was doing, but from all his preachings that weren't preachings, he heard about humanity. He wanted to help humanity, and he saw what his people were going through. So he was giving up his life to help others.
Just like a communist. Wainwrights.
Ooh, a perfect example of the Oversoul is when the Wainwrights sacrificed their own safety to help build a dam with Pa. And then while they're building the dam, Mrs. Wainwright takes Rosa Sharon into the boxcar and she opens up the leg and says, "We're gonna have a baby child." And she pulls a majestic, a stillborn baby out of Rosa Sharon, and she hands it to Uncle John. And Uncle John's doing nothing because, he's out of alcohol. And he's like, I guess I can bury this. But instead of burying it, he takes it and he lets his people go.
Let my people go!
Mrs. Wainwright helps deliver Rose of Sharon's baby, and all of the men of all the families help build a dam to protect everybody else's family.
Right, like one big puzzle. Oh my god. There's another example. And it is the best example. End of the book.
Wait! I almost forgot. The perfect example of the Oversoul. Set the scene. Rose of Sharon and the rest of the people are walking up to a barn, trying to get away from the rain. They spot this dying man and his son lying on the ground of the barn. Rose of Sharon walks over and says, "Yo, dude, you okay?" And the dying man responds, "I'm dying." And she's like, "Want some milk?" And he's like, "No, please." And then she gives him some milk, because milk does a body good. I love that scene.
Rose of Sharon gives her body up for the good of a man she doesn't know. Her soul is nothing to her because collectively it creates one giant soul that she is willing to do anything for. How can you beat it? Rose of Sharon, the literal embodiment of God.
Even when he said he was everywhere.
Well, you see, in chapter 28, Tom tells Ma, "Coal black caves of vines, then I'll be around in the dark. I'll be everywhere, wherever you look. Wherever there's a fight so hungry people can eat, I'll be there. Where there's a cop beating up a guy, I'll be there." In short, Tom gives up his life to help everyone. He's part of the Oversoul. He's part of all mankind. If he keeps working with them and they all work together, just like the turtle keep moving, mankind isn't going to end. There's going to be good times and bad times. And Tom's just going to lead them through the bad times.
That's right. Every member of the novel, every major character contributes to the Oversoul in some way or form.
Right.
American novels because of this. It incorporates philosophies of the 19th century along with the American dream.
Yeah, it uses pragmatism and transcendentalism and the fact that Tom is a pragmatist, idealist. He thinks day by day.
Yeah, he takes it one day at a time. And so does the family. They face one problem at a time. They don't worry about what's coming up ahead. They just keep moving along. And that's what they do as a whole. That's the Oversoul. All of humankind, all those migrant workers moving, they go one day at a time. And they realize that they're all doing the same thing. They're all one big family, and they can all work together to help each other and for the greater good of themselves.
Any thoughts, Jackson?